We're back for one last episode of season 11.
Mm-hmm.
We have a very important practice to share with you to help you finish your school year well and to get off on the right foot for the one to come. Print your homeschool curriculum with Humble Heart Press. Faith-forward, family-owned, and made for homeschoolers. We're committed to being fast, affordable, and stress-free because your time is sacred and your story deserves to be printed beautifully. Welcome to A Delightful Education, the podcast that spreads the feast of the Charlotte Mason method. I'm Emily Kaiser, and I'm here with
Nicole Williams
and Liz Cottrell.
And this is our last episode of season 11. We've done this officially for 11 years now, guys. Woo! It's just, that
Amazing.
number keeps getting bigger.
I know.
We like to end each season with an intentional looking back before we turn our attention to what's ahead. So, how do we put this into practice as far as our own school year goes?
Yeah. Before you rush into next year's plans or even summer's freedom, I just want to go to the next thing. But I think if you take an hour, and I think an hour is a good number, could be less, but depending on number of kids you have, and sit down and reflect on the year that's passed and ask yourself questions like, what went well this year? Where did my children grow? Academically, yes, but also in character. What was unexpectedly fruitful? What was consistently hard? Where did I feel tension? Where did I feel peace? What rhythms worked? Maybe some that didn't. What did we abandon and why did that happen? And what can you give thanks for in that year? We can't really plan wisely if we don't look back and be honest about what happened. Charlotte Mason said, every mother, especially, should keep a diary in which to note the successive phases of her child's physical, mental, and moral growth. So she understood that growth is gradual. And it's just like when you watch your own kids grow and don't really notice it. And then the grandparents who maybe live in another state come and visit and they're like, oh my gosh, you've grown, but you don't see it.
Right.
And so this is intentionally recording what we've seen, taking a moment to notice it. We are really trying to give our kids a different kind of education with greater outcomes than just the 3 R's, you know? And so we value more than just how'd they do in math? What were their grades? What were the math scores and reading levels? We're trying to watch for moral character and good habits for maturity. And these are some of the things that you can write in reflection. Have you noticed increased attentiveness? Greater responsibility, maybe more kindness towards a sibling, a new independence. These aren't small things. These are important things. But we notice those little tiny bits of it. It gives us encouragement, that we're doing an important work. Now, if you'd like more direction on this, more questions, actually even written out, we created an entire episode to walk you through this process. It's episode 241, Seasonal Reflections. And in the show notes of that episode, we actually have a PDF that you can print out. And it gives you a whole bunch of questions that you can ask or use to prompt you to reflect on your school year.
Yeah.
And together, we kind of do this. Every year we meet for a whole weekend. That's pretty intense, right?
We stop calling it a retreat.
Yeah, we call it an advance.
Onward.
But we do reflect on all the things that we've done as a delightful education that have been good, that haven't been good, and we course correct and set new goals and things like that. And last year when we did that, we realized we were coming to the end of 10 years, and there was basically a whole new generation of homeschool families out there. And perhaps it would be wise to go back and recap each subject again as we started out in the very beginning. Yeah. So you got 10 years more experience from us this year. And we also moved to the YouTube format, which was a big change for us. So that, in addition to carrying on our usual annual online conference, which is called ADE at Home. And this year our theme was Generous Hearts, Souls, and Minds. This happens the first weekend in February every single year. I believe we had, was it 29 speakers? for over 40 different workshops, and about 550 people attended this year and met one another and got to share. And it's really quite a fun, joyful experience. The three of us were the three plenary speakers this past year.
The first time we've ever done that.
Yeah, we've never done that before. And that was really good. We, of course, every early summer, release some new videos, some teacher helps, and some demo lessons. And we also did that.
Yep. We also have launched our curriculum cohort.
I was just going to say, the big change for Emily and I especially was to move away from doing a massive amount of one-on-one consultations and to try to develop a course so that mothers could go through and learn how to do this for themselves and have the security of our same instructions and teachings and guidance and book lists and all of that good stuff. So, and there's a community involved with that people can participate in as much as they want to and ask questions and get support from one another. And we have over 400 enrolled. Is that right?
Yes, ma'am.
And we are still building that airplane even as we fly it across the country. So it's been a wonderfully rewarding thing so far. And we're just in the middle of the first year. So still have a class that will wind up in July.
Yep. Yeah, so that's basically been consuming Liz and I for the entirety of the last 6 months or so.
Yeah.
That's my personal update. That's all I'm doing right now.
That's all
my
you're
kids
doing.
are 7 to 12 now. Jonah is going into 8th grade next year. So this is last year before high school. And it's just,
I don't know how that happened.
it's incredible. Yeah.
Don't blink.
I know. Do not blink.
Yeah.
And, I'm not going to live forever. And we just thought this is not going to be sustainable. So we've moved to a new thing, and new things are always scary. So some of you are facing maybe high school years next year, or you're just diving into Charlotte Mason for the first time, and you know what I'm talking about a little bit of trepidation.
Yeah. Main new thing with me is that a little less than a year ago, well, I guess when this comes out, it will be a year ago, almost exactly, I started put out into the world a new nature curriculum, Nature Explorers, and then Understanding Biome for high school in August. And I have 2 more of those coming out this year, and I've been so excited about it. It's if you've followed me for any time at all, I've been trying to find a way to help with nature study.
Yes.
And I think I was, but there was just still too much work for the parent. And I finally found a way that I've gotten really good feedback on. And so I'm enjoying doing that. And so I plan to do 12 years of it, and hopefully it won't take me 7 years like my science curriculum took. I don't think it'll take that long. I hope not.
Well, you're not teaching children at the same time.
Right. So my kids are now between 21 and 26, and they're all growing up.
And you've got 2 done already, right?
Yeah, I do. Yeah. So really, like in reflection, I would just mention, a lot of you are in the trenches still, and I say 21 to 26 for my kids, and those 20s years are so pivotal in them kind of getting their start and getting their feet on the ground. And I've just been so thankful that I not only homeschooled them, but I homeschooled them this way. I've just seen so much fruit in their lives from the ideas that they've been exposed to. I enjoy them so much. And I didn't really know that was possible because maybe the way I was raised, that just wasn't as common, I guess. And so other side of this, I think, such a good thing.
So now is the time, after we've done our reflection, we've taken stock of where we've been, what's been going on. It's time to start planning for the next year, right? Hopefully you have your curriculum, but there's so much more to figure out to get prepared for, playlists to build and pictures to buy or print, books to acquire, And maybe a good dose of pre-reading. If you're having students who are doing their lessons independently, we think it's really good to pre-read as much as possible. And I always take the summer to do that. That's my rhythm. So I don't have to keep up with that during the school year while I'm trying to teach and do all of the other things as well.
And build a whole cohort.
And build a whole quarter. Yes. Maybe you need to forecast out your lessons. You have to work out your timetable.
Pre-reading.
I always love to clear out their school boxes that hold their pencils and their notebooks and rulers and dry erase boards and all the things. They help me with this. I don't do it by myself. And then we put everything in order and get all new paper in our math notebooks. And I love school supplies, so that's always an exciting thing. But, pulling out the books off our school carts and switching our shelf with our new ones. So now is the time to do it. Don't delay. It is a much better task if we take it in small bites, just like we take our short lessons throughout the school year with our kids. If we can do this in small chunks instead of having to spend, a week or 2 weeks of our vacation time when we really just want to be at the pool with our kids doing that. We have a couple of episodes that may help you as you're thinking ahead to the next year. Particularly, I'm thinking about our form overviews. Maybe your kids are moving up to a different form and you want to have a big picture of what's to come for them. We recorded form overviews a long time ago. They're episodes 83 through 88. And now we're on episode 340. So that was a long while ago. We have an episode on the timetable. If you are not convinced, this is the magic sauce of Charlotte Mason education. And you can hear more about why that is in episode 264. We have a whole episode on forecasting, number 232. And I thought this year, as we are working through volume 6 very systematically, it might help to do a revisit of the philosophy underlying Charlotte Mason's subjects. We always want to know how to teach this. What is happening? What do we do in the lessons? And if we don't have that foundational philosophy of the method, we are missing the whole point of Charlotte Mason education. So I would encourage you to go back and listen to our short synopsis episodes. It's not every one of these, but it's between episode 201 and 210. And they're laid out on our webpage, delectableeducation.com, under the episodes and by topic. You can find those there. What is up with ADE in the coming year, Mom?
Well, one never knows entirely. We basically are going to finish out what we started this year, going through the subjects as she does in Volume 6, Toward a Philosophy of Education, Chapter 10, the curriculum. If you've been following along with us, we're not leaving you stranded in the middle. We promise we will come back and tackle all the good things that are still left in the subjects. So that's the main plan for the podcast next year, continuing to bring weekly, approximately 20-minute segments each week to keep it accessible and short and sweet for you because you're busy. I know this summer, the three of us will be speaking at the conference Awaken up in Traverse City, Michigan, which is a beautiful place to go if you've never been there. It's a wonderful retreat. It's short and sweet, just Friday night and Saturday. Wonderful food,
Unless
wonderful
you do the
people.
all-day immersions.
Well, that's what I was going to say. And then if you really are wanting some refreshment and inspiration, you could attend each of us will be doing an all-day teaching from 9 in the morning till 3 in the afternoon. It's usually a whole day of you being the student and learning from us. I think, Nicole, you're doing nature, right?
Nature study.
I will be helping a child to learn to read and keep loving reading throughout the years. And Emily will be doing how to structure your school morning, right?
More like strategies for
keeping
multiple
things in order.
students out. Like how do you teach multiple children at different levels?
She has a little bit of experience with that.
I do.
And of course, we'll have some new teacher helps and videos and teaching tools that will be put on the website again this early summer.
Yep. So stay tuned.
Just a few weeks from now.
Yep. Usually we do that by the beginning of July. So you can have some new resources at your fingertips for your school. next year.
We're also planning to do our conference again this
Yes,
year.
we are.
Delectable Education at Home, ADE at Home.
And that is always the first full weekend of February. So what are the dates this year? 2027 February.
I think it's the 5th and 6th of February.
5th and 6th of February, 2027.
Wow.
I know.
It'll be the 7th one.
Yes.
Yeah. What else?
Maybe
We
What's
still
new with you
have-
personally? Huh?
We still have our Patreon. We haven't talked about that in a little while, but we post new things every week on there. And we're just really thankful for everybody who has chosen to support our work on this podcast in that way and try to give back as much as we can over there.
Yep. They usually get all of our new releases for
Early.
free and early.
Yeah.
So that's a great help as you are in your planning time.
Yeah.
And Emily every month has a great tip to share of how to survive teaching. Nicole has her lovely nature ideas, and you never know what you're going to get from me. But
Some word we all need to hear.
A word of encouragement.
Encouragement, yeah.
Yes.
Well, my title for the workshop that we were just discussing about at the upcoming Awaken is, I titled it Feeding the Multitudes. And that gave me an idea of something I wanted to talk to you and share about with you today. My youngest children are reciting Matthew 14:15 to 21 this term. And perhaps that is why I had that idea for the title in my mind at all, Feeding the Multitudes. That conference session, as I said, is going to be about managing multiple students all coming to the feast of a Charlotte Mason education together at once in the same room. And for so many of us, that seems like an impossible task. As mother and teacher, you are most likely outnumbered by your children. In this season of too much to do and too little time to do it in, I have been reflecting on how impossible the work the Lord has given me right now seems. My favorite verse at the moment, and has been for many years, is Ephesians 2:10. It goes like this: "For we are his workmanship, created in Christ Jesus for good works, which God prepared ahead of time for us to do." And usually that idea is comforting for me, that God's purpose for me is the work that is laid out for me to do each day. My job in that is just to be faithful, knowing that all my labor can be done for God's glory. But this year particularly, I admit to feeling overwhelmed in this season, which brings me back to feeding the 5,000 in Matthew 14. Let me just read it for us. It says, "As evening approached, the disciples came to him and said, 'This is a remote place and it's already getting late. Send the crowds away so they can go to the villages and buy themselves some food.' And Jesus replied, 'They do not need to go away. You give them something to eat.' 'We have here only 5 loaves of bread and 2 fish,' they answered. 'Bring them here to me,' he said. And he directed the people to sit down on the grass. Taking the 5 loaves and the 2 fish, and looking up to heaven, he gave thanks and broke the loaves. And then he gave them to the disciples, and the disciples gave them to the people. They all ate and were satisfied, and the disciples picked up 12 basketfuls of broken pieces that were left over. The number of those who ate was about 5,000 men, besides women and children." So the disciples looked around and they saw a need. They had compassion and sympathy with the multitudes. They must be hungry. There isn't a place to grab takeout around here. But Jesus asks the seemingly impossible. "You give them something to eat." What? How can we do that? They must be thinking. We've got 5 loaves of bread and 2 fish. This wouldn't amount to even a crumb to feed each person, let alone the meal that their stomachs require. Educating the children who are entrusted to us often feels like that. Our sleep was disrupted, and we show up to the table running on fumes. We have 4 or 5 or more kids that all need our help with one lesson or another at the same time. Several of our kids are slow to learn to read, and how can they work independently so I can just help this other child with their math lesson? It all just seems impossible. "Bring them here to me," Jesus says. asking for our limited resources. He knows what the children need, for they are His, and so are we. He's not flustered. He doesn't see the impossible tasks. He gives thanks, confident that our good Heavenly Father will provide just what is needed for each one of us. But what comes next in our story? The disciples don't sit back and watch the miracle unfold. No, they are asked to facilitate it, to participate in the work of the moment. What should be just crumbs turns out to be a feast. Not only are the people satisfied, there is abundance running over. When we show up, faithful to do the work before us, no matter how impossible the task seems, the same thing often happens. Connections are made, relationships with knowledge are built. The Lord has truly prepared this work of educating these children right in front of us before the foundations of the world. We are His workmanship, His masterpiece, His poem, as that word is translated, created to do this work for His glory. So as we finish out this school year, let us remember to look back at the work that feels impossible, the meager crumbs that we know we ourselves could provide, and give thanks, trusting Him to bring the abundance, because He is the divine teacher. After all, He's our teacher. So let us give thanks and feed His lambs. I'd like to end this season as we began it by reading a liturgy from Every Moment Holy. This is from Volume 3, The Work of the People, and it is called A Liturgy for Responding to a Child's Needs. O Father, I abide in the beautiful truth that I can come to you expectantly, knowing that you will hear me and answer me. You bend to listen to my pleas for help and comfort and guidance and strength. You carry me always. You never tire of it, and I depend upon your dependability to comfort and hold me. And yet, sometimes the voices of my own children become so continuous and exhausting and overwhelming. I am so easily put out and wearied by the whining, tugging, grabbing, and crying to be continually held and attended to. In my humanity, I am confronted with my many limitations. I am so easily given to selfishness, exhaustion, tedium, frustration, and irritation. My back aches and my neck and shoulders are aflame from hoisting small children up again and again and again, and balancing them on my hip while trying to accomplish my tasks for the day. How easily my sin can twist the joyful blessing of holding a child into drudgery and a wearisome task. Is this not what I prayed for, Lord, when I asked you to fill my arms with children? I am so like the Israelites who complained though you rescued them from their enemies, who complained though you rained manna from heaven and provided water from a rock. Yet you never tire of coming to the aid of your children. This is my prayer for us, you guys. Father, give me the capacity I need to respond lovingly to my children who cry out to be picked up and held again and again. Remind me of the blessed truth that while I hold my little ones, you hold me. Let me display to them what it looks like to joyfully lay down one's life for another. Help me to show them that while I will fail them at times, you will never fail them, and you will always hold us fast. Amen. We'll be right back. When it comes to printing your homeschool curriculum, you deserve a partner who understands the heart behind the work. Humble Heart Press, run by a homeschool mom of 5 sons, is here to make your printing simple, beautiful, and affordable. We offer lay-flat tape-bound books that are perfect for teacher's guides, wire-bound books for that easy 360-degree flip, gorgeous art prints, flashcards, lamination, oversized maps, and more, all thoughtfully made with the homeschooler in mind. And our custom keepsake journals? They're a heartfelt favorite. Each journal features a personalized cover with your child's name, a special keepsake page with their photo, and your choice of custom notebooking page styles, perfectly tailored to each subject. culminating in a treasured keepsake of your best homeschool days together. Humble Heart Press prints with purpose to preserve your time and energy for what matters most. So send your PDF to a company that cares, and we'll ship you beautiful books straight to your doorstep. Visit us at humbleheartpress.com. That brings us to the end of Season 11 of A Delectable Education, the podcast that spreads the feast of the Charlotte Mason Method. We thank you for joining us this year as we have worked our way through Chapter 10 of Charlotte Mason's final volume, An Essay Towards a Philosophy of Education. If you've been reading along with us, you'll notice that we haven't cleared the table of the entire feast yet. So stay tuned for next season, airing in August, as we return to discussing the remaining subjects we haven't covered yet in Season 11. Until then, keep laboring for the children's sake. If you benefited from this conversation, please like and subscribe. We hope our discussion serves to equip and encourage you as we seek to explain the Charlotte Mason Method. You can find the show notes in the video description or by visiting adelectableeducation.com/episodes. There, you'll find the links and quotes we mentioned in today's episode. We are so grateful for our loyal Patreon supporters who help make this show possible. If you'd like to partner with us in our work here at A Delectable Education, you can join our Patreon community and receive exclusive and early content as our thank you for your monthly support. Find out more at patreon.com/adelectableeducation. Thank you for joining us today. We'll see you next time.